We are back on Fog Entertainment attempting the heist of the century, the biggest heist of all time. We're going to try and review episode 11 and episode 12 in Money Heist Korea, even though we watched it like 3-4 months ago. Welcome back, guys, to the channel. You might be thinking, what the hell happened to these reviews? Not too sure, but they are back. We're going to review episode 11 today, then we're going to review episode 12, and then we've got a whole list of videos coming on the series. We're going to have theory feds, we're going to be ranking the episodes, we're going to be ranking the characters, we're going to be ranking the deaths, even though there wasn't much of them, to be honest. I mean, looking back on the show, that's probably one thing that I thought was a little bit disappointing, the lack of deaths, but when you take into consideration that the professor didn't want anybody to die, and the whole point was he wouldn't do this if it referred to killing people. He's a good man, he's an honourable man, so I mean the show does lack deaths, but you know what, we'll find enough to rank anyway. Do not worry about it. But yeah, we're going to start with episode 11 here. If I can't remember any names, then God forgive me, but it has been a very long time, and yeah, I'm still trying to get used to these Korean names, but thankfully a lot of the professor's team has code names, so it's not too bad. So we see Tokyo get back into she's into the mint again, and she reveals to the crew that they're moving up the summit, therefore they have to make a move on. They have to get out here as quickly as possible, or else everyone's going to come in and basically gun them all down. So they now know that they can't afford to sit here any longer, basically. And I don't think they're finished printing the money yet, so they're kind of in a rush against time. They find Moscow then, because they have to go and find Moscow, obviously, because he's the one digging the escape route. They don't know if it's finished yet, but Moscow's son, Denver, he's like, oh no, I'll help my dad finish digging this hole. But it turns out Moscow is in no condition to dig any holes. In fact, I think the only thing getting digged will be his grave, 6 feet under.
His own hole.
Yeah, because Moscow is not in a good. He's not in a good place here. Pretty much like Moscow and Kiev right now. It's a bit of a war, and Moscow's feeling the results of a bullet. So when Tokyo was getting into the mint again, obviously Moscow took one for the team. Although nobody knew about it, he kind of went and sat in a cubicle and just bled out the entire night, which probably wasn't a smart idea. If
he led to his death.
If he went and said straight away, oh, by the way, guys, I've been shot here, then who knows, maybe they could have tended to him a lot quicker. But they didn't do that for whatever reason, so by the time they find Moscow, it's a little bit too late. The sniper bullet is, unless you're Steven Seagal, a sniper bullet will probably kill you.
Shut this ain't being shot.
So it's like Moscow, not in a good place. They take Moscow back up to like the telecom room, the room with like all the equipment and stuff.
No, what was Moscow's end game here? We're not telling them. Like, I mean, yeah, right, or maybe it could distract them, right? But end of the day, like, I mean, them finding your dead body's going to distract them.
True.
Looking for you's going to distract them.
Denver's panicking. He wants what's his face? The
professor.
No, not the professor.
Berlin.
No, not
Helsinki.
No.
I mean, I was just named full cast and you said no.
The one that did medical school. The one that likes Tokyo. Rio, yeah. He's desperate for Rio to save his father, but Rio thinks there's not a lot he can do. There's probably not a lot Rio can do, to be honest.
He doesn't like blood, so I mean...
Yeah, he doesn't really like blood, but I think it's more of the fact that, you know, like, the damage is pretty much already done here. At this point, Rio starts freaking out. He basically tells everyone the secret that the professor and Berlin are brothers, and that they're from the north, and they don't even care about the money, and they don't care whether they live or die. You know, this is all political to them, and that they're willing to just fucking go down here and end their lives in this mint, making a political statement. Rio then screams in a really strange accent. I think it was like non-Irish, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not dying for these commie bastards. And it was, it was one of the funniest scenes, I think, in the series. Rio then asks Nairobi, doesn't she want to get out here? Doesn't she want to meet her kid again? Then he tells Denver that he should send his dad out here, get Moscow treatment. It's better that he lives in prison than dies in the mint. And then he tells Helsinki, you know, what about Oslo? Oslo basically died here, and all for nothing, all because of Berlin. Then we see Helsinki square up to Berlin. Or is it Oslo? Which one's dead? Is it Oslo or is it Helsinki?
It's Oslo. Oslo's the one that's dead.
Yeah, so Oslo and Helsinki were obviously brothers, and Helsinki then squares up to Berlin. He's trying to act the tough man, but Berlin kind of like, you know, pushes him away, and he's like, you know, stop this shit. We're here for exactly what you're. We're here for the money. Tokyo then obviously reveals to Rio that she knew about the fact they were brothers. Berlin says, nothing's changed. We still want this money. We're still going to get this money. And he says that we just didn't want to confuse things. We didn't want to, like, cause any concern really by announcing the fact that we're brothers. But he says them being brothers doesn't change the plan, doesn't stop what they're here to do. I mean, which is true. I mean, I don't think Berlin and the Professor being brothers is a big deal. However, Rio does point out the fact that they're both from North Korea, pretending to be from the South. Am I detecting a little bit of racism here from Rio to the North?
Is it racism? It's more sectarianism.
Well, sectarianism then. It's like, Rio seems to have a problem with both these guys being for the North. Or does he just not like the fact that they're commie bastards and he thinks he's going to get them all killed?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a stereotyping here.
Yeah, it's like...
I think he's just been brainwashed his whole life by, like, South Korea being so much better than the North.
But what's funny is, I mean, he seems to be in love with Tokyo, and I don't know if he's aware that Tokyo's from the North either.
I know.
So
half his crew's for the North.
the North.
The North of Korea.
Do you think Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland could pull off something like this?
No,
definitely not. All right, so we see that happening then. Then we see Woojin. She calls the Professor, says her partner has been in an accident, which obviously the Professor knows. He witnessed him getting run over. He's also sent one of his guys to the hospital to try and, I assume, take him out, but he's been too heavily guarded by the police. Woojin then, when she speaks to the Professor, asks him for a lift, said her car's broke down. Professor agrees to give her a lift, comes and collects her, takes her to the hospital. Woojin then says that her partner might not wake up for like another 3 days. The Professor's happy with this, but she also says that he might wake up at any time or he might never wake up. So the Professor has like some sort of I don't know, like an injection thing with him, like a syringe. I'm not sure what it was filled with. Was he trying to kill the partner of Woojin here, whose name I will find out in a little minute?
It must have been a lethal injection of some sort. So he was hardly going to inject him with fucking
Mewhook. That's it, Mewhook.
No, but he was hardly going to inject him with insulin.
So you think maybe he was trying to inject him with something that would kill him or lose his memory?
Absolutely, because you couldn't risk the lose the memory. You couldn't guarantee the risk of memory, so he has to kill him.
True, but I mean, he didn't want to kill anyone in the mint.
Yeah, but this guy had to be killed.
This guy knew. I suppose this guy did know the plans, like so. But before he can do that, Woojin walks in, and that's his plan. Then gone. He says, "Does he want?" He asks Woojin, "Does she want him to stick around?" She says, "No." He's then driving back to his hideout. He gets contacted by Seoul, who is the girlfriend of Berlin, and she tells him that Woojin is approaching their camp. And all of a sudden, the Professor starts freaking out. We see in a flashback that he was searching his car. It turns out he found that there was like a tracker on the back of his jacket. Then we cut to the present, and Woojin and her team have completely surrounded the building. They think they've caught the Professor. They move in, they infiltrate the building, but all they find is like a chair sitting in the middle of this big fucking room, and it's got the Professor's jacket on it, and she walks over, and she sees the little, the little tracker just flashing red and beeping. Then we cut back to the Professor, and he is back in the actual hideout speaking with Seoul, and he's now one jacket less.
Yep, and you know what? It was a cool wee reveal. They thought they were going to catch him, and it was just a steel chair with his wee jacket.
I mean, the Professor's sneaky. Can you really?
It's one thing losing the tail, but actually, properly setting this wee chair up and putting your jacket on it was very smug.
Yeah. Then Woojin gets a phone call, and it turns out she is being suspended. They want to do internal questioning because she is the Professor's boyfriend, and they've now found out that the Professor was behind this. And yeah, I mean, pretty much Woojin's career falling apart here. Her relationship, her romance is falling apart. Not too much is looking good for Woojin at the moment.
No, it's not, and you know what? It's to be expected here. I feel like she's been played she has been played like a fiddle this entire time.
Yeah. We then go back into the mint, and we've got Moscow. He's chatting with Mi-sun, and then Moscow says to Denver, look, if they can make it out of the mint, then he should look after her, and he should get together with her. At first, that he wasn't too happy with this relationship because it reminded him of himself and Denver's mother. The fact that they had a similar situation where they met on a heist that he was part of.
Cops and robbers.
And he thought that the same thing would happen there. But he tells her, look, you need to you need to, be with her. If you want to be with her, then be with her. Then he reveals his real name to the team, and he dies. So basically, Moscow now is done and dusted. So
I was really surprised they killed Moscow off.
Yeah.
But he asked for it. I mean, hiding in a cubicle like Billy Mitchell in The Shark. Come on, what's going on?
Yeah, kind of sucks for Moscow. We go back to the Mint, and we just got Denver now. He's knocking. He's
knocking down the tunnel. He's digging the tunnel.
Yeah, he's digging the tunnel. He's obviously upset. He's trying to get out of here.
Helsinki tells him, well, if you keep doing that, you'll die like your father before him.
Yeah,
that's actually before he died.
Yeah, there's a scene before he dies, and Helsinki's like, if you keep up this pace, you're going to die before your father. And it's like, that came off as like fucking incredibly hard.
I think it's the English dubbing.
It
just came across as so
I don't know if you translate that into Korean. I wonder what that means. Maybe it could be a North.
It could maybe mean like, here, you'll end up next to your dad if you're not careful. But I mean, that doesn't sound that good. Like, but I don't understand.
Yeah. Anyway, I think at this stage they finished printing the money. They're getting ready to move. Rio shares with Tokyo that he doesn't trust the professor anymore. He's lost faith in the professor, and he doesn't believe that they should be listening to the professor in Berlin. Tokyo then tells Rio that, look, Professor's the one that got us here. He's still the leader. We need to stick by him. We need to follow the plan. And she says that she had a reason to return, her own personal reason to return to the Mint, which I think makes Rio a bit uncomfortable. He doesn't know what it is. He's still not trustworthy here of Berlin and the Professor. And who knows, maybe he's losing trust in Tokyo as well. So he goes to help Denver do digging duties in the tunnel. And before we get to the end of what happened in this episode, totally forgot the beginning. Had like probably one of the best scenes of the series, where Rio has like a vision in his head when they're discussing the escape plan. He basically plays through a vision in his head where they make their way out into the streets successfully, but then all of a sudden they get cornered by like the military, the armed forces, and they basically just get executed one by one. And it was like a really, really cool scene. We see Berlin getting shot straight away, just getting absolutely...
Heat shot.
Well, it wasn't a heat shot, mate. It was...
It was not.
He gets up at the end, you fucking tool, so obviously not. So he gets shot in the chest.
The driver, Helsinki, gets shot in the head.
Yeah, Helsinki gets the headshot while he's trying to drive the professor out. So Helsinki crashes.
Helsinki, you alright there? No, you fucking did, mate.
Helsinki crashes the vehicle, and the professor's like, Helsinki! He's like shaking him as if he's going to wake up. He's like, nah, he's not going to wake up, mate. It's just like a big massive bullet to the head. Berlin then gets shot up. Moscow gets shot. Denver then tries to protect his father. He takes a load of rounds. Moscow then tries to cover him. They both die. Nairobi went to the top of the stairs, I guess, to try and get a height advantage, to try and get a bird's eye view, but she gets shot and she falls like 20 feet to her death, just lands, crashes down on the floor. The entire time we got Rio hiding underneath a car, being an absolute shitebag here, which didn't really help anything. Then we see Tokyo, she comes in a car, runs over a few of the police, and she gets out, starts shooting, but runs out of ammo, looks at her guns, and then the next minute, boom, 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 dead. Then the military are on the radio. They say, that's it, we've taken care of it, job here's done. They're getting back into their vehicle. Berlin just gets back up from the dead, unplugs a grenade, unpins a grenade, unpins. Then he runs into the back of the military van and closes the door with him and everybody else inside it, blows the fuck out of everyone. We've got that wee mad Just We song playing in the background, and then Rio tried to get up from underneath the car, I guess, to save Berlin, but it didn't happen. The explosion sent Rio onto his back, and then by the time Rio can look up, he's surrounded by like 4 or 5 guys, and he's like, I surrender, but it doesn't matter, and they shoot the shit out of him as well, and that was Rio's vision. And then Rio tells them, I had a vision that we all go out of here, but we died. So yeah, hopefully Rio's vision doesn't come true.
Hopefully not, or else, I mean, this show would take a serious nosedive. But guess what? This is the most deaths you're going to get, because we don't like killing people off.
So we've still got Rio and Denver, they're digging the hole, and then the other crew that the professor has, gotten together, Soul's team or whatever, they're on the other side, and all of a sudden we can hear each other, and we see that we don't really see them, but we know that they're on either side, so they're close. You can hear voices, so we know that this tunnel, this escape plan is close to being dug. But then we go back to the professor, and he has been caught by Woojin. She's found him somehow. I'm not too sure what gave him away, to be honest. I cannot remember, but she's got him at gunpoint. She then pretty much tells him, look, this is it, you're done. The professor goes over his plan, saying that he's not a bad guy and whatever, and he's doing this to show everybody that basically North and South Korea are corrupt and that they don't care about the people and that they're willing to do anything to make money, essentially, to print money, whether it be unification or being divided or whatever. They're willing to do whatever it takes. That's what the summit's about. It's all about money. It's all about the rich getting richer. It's all about capitalism here. So the professor here doesn't like capitalism. He doesn't want people making money. Of course that we know. I mean, he might have it. This might be his secondary motive, but we know that he wants the money, and he's just trying to play it off as a political heist. But Woojin's like, well, your plan's not going to work. The professor's like, I didn't want the money. I was going to give my share. I was going to throw my share in the town. He was going to put it in like a hot air bubble and just like blast it into the town. But she's like, well, you're not going to get to see that. He discusses how him and his family tried to leave North Korea a long time ago. It resulted in his mother dying, and his father was originally the one that came up with this idea. He's just trying to see out his father's plans, basically get revenge. This thing basically killed his father in the end, killed his mother. He wants to get revenge on like the corrupt governments, and she's like, you ain't the only one with a sob story. But he's determined that he's going to pull this through. She then asks him how does he know all about this and how he knows their plans. He says that it's her ex-husband, the congressman, that is behind it, and the reason he knows this is because he was the advisor. So he confirms that he was the one that basically came up with this plan. He put this plan in motion so that they could take over the mint, so they could pull off this heist. Then he tells Woojin that his feelings for her were not faked, and that he's sorry that he did kind of lead her on, and that he had no intentions, but he genuinely felt for her, and that is why he couldn't stop the romance. She tells him to cut that out, that she doesn't want him to bring that up, and she lets her guard down momentarily, and then we get the professor grabbing the gun off her, basically apologising, aiming the gun at her head and pulling that trigger. So that's what happened there.
That's her deed.
That's her deed. Or is it? Because the professor doesn't like to kill people, so...
This show doesn't like to kill people.
So I can't...
It's kill one off, it's not going to kill two.
I can't imagine the professor would literally just fucking kill this woman that he's been in love with, but we never know. We never know. I mean, it could happen. And yeah, that was pretty much it then for the end of the episode. It kind of ends with the big gunshot there, and we don't get to reveal whether or not she is dead or alive. But we know that the tunnel is now dug, the money is now printed, they are ready to make their escape, and that is what they will do in episode 12. But is it, guys? It's time for us to review. Well, we've already reviewed it. It's time for us to rate, should I say, this episode 11. And you know what? I don't want to go on a rant here, but it just pissed me off how they just call each episode like episode 1, episode 2. Can we not have names? I just like episodes to have names.
I know, I agree with that.
I just don't like episodes. It's cheap, in my opinion.
Well, if you think that's cheap, in the TV show 24, it's called 12 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh,
1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Anyway, it's time to review episode 11.
Well, rate it.
Yeah, I've said review twice.
Well,
that's what happens. You make these vids at 3 a.m. Anyway, it's time to rate it. What's your rating? What's your thoughts?
I feel like it kind of felt a wee bit fillery. Especially stuff inside the mint. I feel like outside the mint it was good. I wasn't a fan of the Moscow death, personally. I feel like it was fucking stupid. Just go to them, you get shot.
Yeah, it kind of sucked that Moscow died. I mean, I did really like I thought the opening, scene where they escape, the vision that Rio has, I thought that was great. I really enjoyed Rio having the little meltdown here and revealing that Berlin and the Professor are brothers and calling them out. I really liked that scene. I thought the stuff on the outside with Woojin trying to track down the Professor and trying to get him to lead her to the base, I thought that was really good. So, I mean, I thought there was a lot of good stuff in this. I mean, was there too much filler spent digging the hole? I mean, maybe, inside. Although, I mean, I did like the episode. You know what? I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7 too. I feel like the show's good, but I feel like this episode could have done a wee bit more in the mint. I feel like the mint, it does feel like there's dragging things out severely at points.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought they'd already dug the tunnel and they had the money. I thought they'd been ready to go for a while. That's the kind of feeling I thought we were to believe, but I guess not.
It's almost like, what the fuck have they been doing?
But they are now, they're ready to go. The tunnel's been dug, the money's been printed, we're ready, episode 12. Let's go out here, let's get this money, let's celebrate, let's pull off this money heist career. We'll catch you in episode 12, guys, for the review. 7 out of 10 here. Catch you in the next one. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back. Like I said, after episode 12, there'll be ranking videos, ranking characters, ranking episodes, lots of videos, and will there be a season 2? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see if there's any information on that. But yeah, stay tuned and lots of videos on this channel. Catch you in the next one. Peace.